Hey people, Raz here. Today, I refuse to talk about the Red Baron, mainly because this keeps happening.
This is where the fun begins. Do a barrel roll.
You ever hear the tragedy of
Anthony Fokker the Aviator.
No.
I thought not.
Anthony Fokker is a name as synonymous with World War I as Kaiser Wilhelm or Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Sadly, his legacy and story is one of tragedy. Fokker, much like Sopwith, was just a plane enthusiast before the war. He was initially located in Holland, but then decided to build his factories in Germany. At this time, Germany was the mecca for engineering in general, which made it a no-brainer. However, that all changed with the outbreak of World War I. Suddenly, Fokker found his factories seized by the German government. While he was not 100% forced to build planes for Germany, he didn't have much of a choice since his entire livelihood was wrapped up in his German factories. Due to this, Fokker started reaping the benefits of the German wartime economy. Fokker's planes became something of a legend after the war. Fokker and his team were the first to figure out a proper synchronizer gear, which allowed the machine guns to fire through the propeller without hitting the blade. Hilariously, the French solution was just to cover the damn propeller in metal, causing bullets to ricochet if the propeller was hit by accident. Fokker and his team went on to design a number of legendary planes. The plane we're going to talk about today is the Fokker Dr. This plane is heralded as being one of the best planes of World War I, mainly due to its maneuverability. While the plane was considered slow and unruly by its pilots, the amount of drag created by the wings gave it a significant amount of flexibility in the air. This was one of the slowest modern fighters at its time. Its speed was both a blessing and a curse. Since it was so slow, it could not keep up with competing models like the Sopwith Camel in the air. However, it could outmaneuver it, and use its slowness to its advantage to get on target faster. This is what gave its pilots a deadly edge in combat. While the Sopwith was faster and could climb quicker, the Dr. could aim at them quicker and get behind them faster, which proved to be more advantageous. The 4, yes, I said 4-wing design, was stolen from the Sopwith Camel triplane. Unfortunately, the top wing was known for falling off on the DR-1. Also, since the wings were close together, it made it to where the pilots were literally landing blind. In fact, takeoff and landings were the most dangerous part of flying this plane, since you were 100% blind to the front since the wings were always in your way. If it wasn't for he who shall not be named, this plane probably wouldn't even be famous. Overall, the plane suffered for being slow, toppling over during landing, having the wings fall off the top, and suffering from engine failure mid-flight. Basically, the thing was a death trap. The Fokker DR-1 served from September 1917 until November 1918. Only 320 were built. After the war, the Entente had a bone to pick with Fokker. They outlawed the production of all airplanes in Germany. Fokker, along with his most valued engineers, moved back to Holland. There, Fokker and his team focused on what he really wanted to do, which was provide commercial air travel to the masses. In the 1930s, Fokker saw his biggest success partnering with KLM in developing passenger airplanes. Fokker eventually even moved to the United States, where he partnered with Boeing to form the Atlantic Aircraft Corporation. Sadly, Fokker died in 1939. One of the last planes he built was the Fokker G1. If it looks familiar to you, then you know one of the biggest influences for the P-38 Lightning. Fokker's company would continue all the way until 1996, until it had to file for bankruptcy. It had a long and rocky history in the commercial airline industry, and even had an aerospace division. Sadly, Fokker's legacy would be his fighters. While he went on to have a prosperous career in the commercial airline industry, his unfortunate inclusion in World War I gave him an infamous reputation for developing some of the world's most deadly fighters. Let's see what alcoholic pairing God King Cobi has provided us with today. A nice German schnapps. During World War I, the average German soldier was issued a variety of beverages as part of their ration, depending on what was available at the time. While it says schnapps on the bottle, this isn't the fruity drink most Americans are used to. Schnapps, during World War I, was most similar to Everclear, everyone's favorite mistake. The brave souls who had to prepare this usually tried to cut it with water. The main reason they had to do this was because Heinz kept getting wasted in all the trenches and making out with the horses. How many times do we need to tell you this, Heinz? This is not natural. But I digress. Now, on to the review. I'll give the plane a nice little spin just so you can see the whole model. Now, as I pick it up, you'll see the only two stickers on this model. For some reason, the Cobi fanbase is really weird about stickers, so much so that God King Cobi has had to start pad printing everything. For all you weirdos out there, we only have two stickers on the top of this model. Both the side blocks and insignia are pad printed. Here, I'll show you the underside of the plane and the pilot. Again, Cobi decided not to include a stand with this model. Also, let's give you a nice view of the top of the aircraft. And now the sides again. Beautiful. Lastly, let's give it a little roll to see how the wheels work. Whee! Now, as I turn around the model, let's focus on the pilot. As you can already tell, the minifig is much better than the Sopwith pilot. The head doesn't come off, and the printing is very nice. Now I'll set down the pilot and shake the plane just to prove that the machine gun issue on the Sopwith didn't transfer over to this model. They actually fit quite nicely. Once in place, you can shake the ever-living hell out of the plane and they don't come loose. The bottom axle is held together quite nicely, and it takes a lot to pull it off. Now for a little historical bonus fact. The axle on this plane was actually designed to be its fourth wing. While most think of this plane as a triplane, it's technically a quad. This fourth wing was designed to give it that little extra oomph, a little more lift on takeoff. Another bonus fact, the cockpit was described as very cramped by most pilots. Here's an image for reference. Sorry, little guy. Now, let me put him back in the cockpit and give it one last shake to prove to you that this one stays together. Let me just put this down. Oop, the nose fell off. This has not happened to me before this review. And I'll just press on the wings. Whoop, those fell off too. I have not noticed any of this before this review. Other than that, it's an insanely stable model. Really, I don't have very many complaints at all. It's durable, it looks nice on a shelf, and it's good for both kids and adults. If you're looking for a World War I fighter, I would highly recommend this one. In conclusion, I would give this a 9 out of 10. Damn near perfect in my book. As usual, thank you for watching. You're all truly wonderful. Up next will be the British Mark I. Enjoy.